So for this particular problem, I noticed a lot of students are able to set it up correctly, but they're struggling a little bit because they see decimals and fractions. So let's go ahead and take a look at this one here. It says a tree that is 13 feet tall is growing at a rate of 2 feet each year. A different tree is 20.5 feet tall and is growing at a rate of 3/4 feet each year. At this rate, when will the trees be the same height? What will the height of the trees be? Clearly show your work. It says to write the equation and then answer in how many years will the trees have the same height and at what feet. Notice here it does ask us to use x as a variable, so they were specific there, so we want to make sure we do that. For the first tree, the first tree is currently 13 feet tall and is growing at a rate of 2 feet each year. So I'm going to go ahead and write the equation for that. It's currently 13 feet tall, but since it's growing at 2 feet each year, I'm going to go ahead and add 2, in this case x, since it did ask us to use x. Now they are asking us for when is it going to be the same height as the other tree. So I'm going to go ahead and set it equal to the other tree, which is currently 20.5 feet tall, currently growing at 3/4 feet each year. So I'm going to go ahead and put plus 3/4 x. So most students are able to set this up correctly, which is great, but it's the fraction and decimal work that kind of intimidates them. I'm going to show you it's not that bad. So since we have variables on both sides, I'm going to go ahead and move it over to the left. The opposite of adding 3/4 x is to subtract 3/4 x. This is going to go away and then go ahead and subtract to the other side. Some of you can do this in your head. 2 minus 3/4 is just 1 1/4. But if you can't do it in your head, feel free to just do some side work. We have 2 minus 3/4. Here to make it a fraction, I'm just going to put it over 1. My lowest common denominator is going to be a 4. So here I'm going to have to multiply by 4. So I'll multiply 2 by 4 as well, leaving me with 8/4. Here, going to have to multiply, actually you won't have to change it at all, so I'm just going to keep it as minus 3. So now that's going to leave me with 5/4. So now I have 13 plus 5/4 x equals 20.5. Now all you need to do is subtract 13 from both sides, leaving me with 5/4 x equals, do some side work once again, 20.5 minus 13. It's going to leave me with 5. I'm going to have to borrow, leaving me with 7.5. Now here we have a fraction and a decimal. So it's your choice. You can either convert both into decimals or convert both to fractions. To be completely honest, it is easier and more accurate to convert things into fractions because with division you risk the chance of getting repeating decimals, etc. So I'm going to go ahead and turn 7.5 into an improper fraction. This is going to become 2 times 7 is 14 plus 1 is 15, so this is going to become 15 halves. So now I have 5/4 x equals 15 halves. So all I'm going to have to do to solve for x is divide by both sides by 5/4. So this leaves me with 15 halves divided by 5/4. You want to be careful. This is where a lot of students make mistakes. Make sure the first fraction stays the same, but you multiply the second one by its reciprocal. So this can be 4/5. Here I can cross cancel. This becomes 1, this becomes 2. Here 5 and 15 have 5 in common, so 15 divided by 5 is 3. 5 divided by 5 is 1, so this is going to leave me with 6. So x equals 6. So the other thing is I need to make sure how tall will the tree be. So I have a choice to use 13 plus 2x as an equation or 20.5 plus 3/4 x. To keep things simple, I'm definitely going to use the first equation. So I'm going to go ahead and put 13 plus 2 instead of x. I'm going to put a 6. So here we have 13 plus 2 times 6, which is 12, which is going to give me 25. So here are the different answers. The first equation is going to be 13 plus 2x equals 20.5 plus 3/4 x. And then for how many years will it take? It's going to take 6 years. And how tall will this tree be? After plugging it in, I figured out it's going to be 25 feet tall. So I really suggest that if you're struggling with either the fractions or decimals, go off to the side and do side work and try it. And it's not that bad. And again, I would definitely suggest you keep things as fractions and not as decimals. Okay, so I hope this helps.